In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this mug cozy, and this is designed for larger mugs. So what do I mean by a larger mug? I mean maybe if you like the latte mugs are a little bit bigger, they run 14, 16, 17 ounces, or these taller mugs, I prefer bigger mugs like this. And these, in proportion to something like this, that's more of a standard 11 ounce, you'll see the height difference. So this, if I were to put it on something like this, so if you get mugs, or if you have one, two, maybe you get them as gifts, and they have some kind of, funny, cute, heartwarming, personalized, any of that kind of a graphic on there in the 11 ounce size, this is going to be too big for that. So yes, of course, it fits all the way around. However, where are you going to put your mouth when you go to drink it, right? You're going to hit the ruffle, and the ruffle will not look proportionate if this is more narrow. So this is designed specifically for the bigger mugs. Let me show you how it looks on the bigger size. You'll have seen it in the thumbnail as well. So if I put it on here, it looks beautiful. There's room to put your lips for sipping. Fits great. And then this white one is my beloved. We all have our favorite mug. My beloved everyday coffee mug. I don't particularly care for mugs with writing and all that. I just want a nice mug with a nice cup of coffee. And it fits over and looks proportionate to the larger mug. All right, so let me put all of this glassware away and let's get making these. This works up really quickly. You can do it in half of a day. All right, so to make this, you're going to need a 5mm hook and a 4mm hook. And we're going to start with the 5mm to make the body. And you will need about 65 yards of yarn. I recommend cotton if it's going to be around something warm, or a cotton blend that's more tolerant of heat. These would also be great if you use those big mug soup bowls. They can be a little hot to hold sometimes, or if you have trouble with dexterity and you can't put your fingers in to the handle and you hold it around. This would be nice for that. Okay, so we're going to chain the, you should be able to make this following along with the video, but if you need the written pattern, the PDF will be linked in the description. So I'm going to chain 32 with the 5mm. All right, so I've got my 32 chains, and I want to give you kind of a lay of the land so you understand how this is going to work. The 32 chains is this part. Okay, so this all the way around is the 32. Actually, it'll be 31 once we start working this. So what we're going to do is work 13 stitches right here, which I'm about to show you, and then work this way and add the ruffle at the end. So we'll be working this way to create a 10-inch length. So let me show you how to do the stitch. Now to keep it from, I know sometimes having to keep everything straight and all of that can be a hassle. So to keep it simple, we're not even going to do that. We'll connect it at the very end of the project. So in the second chain from hook, we're just going to work 13 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And we'll just ignore this for the time being while we work the body. Okay, chain 1 and turn. First stitch, pull up a loop. Next stitch, pull up a loop. And this is a single crochet 2 together. So I'll pull through all 3 and chain 1. Now we do not chain 1, skip 1, because these 2 were single crochet 2 together. That made 1 stitch. We've got to make up that 1 stitch by chaining 1 and going directly into the next stitch and doing it again. Pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. That is a single crochet 2 together. Chain 1 to make up for that stitch. Next stitch. Remember, don't skip. I know we get used to the chain 1, skip 1. That's not what's happening here. Pull up a loop. Next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Chain 1 and just keep doing this to the end. It's not a very long row, so this comes together quickly. Chain 1. So you're working in pairs. That would be 12 stitches for the repeat, and we have 13 total, which means we'll have 1 stitch left at the end of this row. This is a math channel. pull up again, pull through 2, chain 1, and there's that last lonely little stitch. Now on these turn chains, these can be a little tight, so I will normally get my nifty little 2mm to go in there, make sure that I get both loops. Get that yarn through here, discard for now. And then there's that single crochet in the last row. It's just that last stitch that is tight like that. All right, chain 1. Now we've got to be careful, even though this is a simple stitch, we've got to be careful to make sure that we're not missing any. All right, so same thing again. Go in the first stitch, pull up a loop, second stitch. Now make sure you're looking at the top to ensure that you're getting the stitch. You're not missing anything, and you always have a 13 stitch count. Chain 1. Okay, where's that next stitch? Right there. Go in, pull up my loop, next stitch, pull up the loop, yarn over, pull through all 3, chain 1, make sure I get in that stitch. I didn't get both loops. Pull through, chain 1, loops on hook. So this is all you'll do until your piece reaches 10 inches. Let me get the ruler. Better slightly over 10 inches than slightly under. Okay, so you want to line up, and you'll see I'm right at 10 inches, and this will fit the mug perfectly, because you don't want this overly stretching trying to make up for that. Now, if you have an unusually wide, those soup bowl cups I mentioned, or did I even mention those? If you have dexterity issues and you can't hold the handle, they're very warm on the hands, so this is nice to hold. But this should just be resting over the handle. It should not be pulled like an elastic. You want this to just comfortably fit around your vessel. So if you need to go a little longer, just check your length. If you need to get a tape measure for a custom fit, by all means. And then once you do that, come back and we are going to work the ruffle edge, which is easy and quick. I've completed the length for the circumference of the mug. And once you do that, you'll need to do your opposite end. And for this, this one is the oversized mug, so I'm going to chain 19. And right, and then I'm going to take it out just to make sure it stays straight, and then slip stitch. And I also need to do that to the other end because it was not attached early on. Okay, so I'll slip the stitch, keep it straight, do a chain, and then now I'm going to work the wave border. So don't cut your yarn, and if you have a side you like better than the other, they look pretty similar to me. Just depends on your, your taste. You're going to immediately start working the wave. All right, so it says to chain, or not chain, to make 4 single crochet. So I'm going to work my 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, let's do this again because I realized I'm supposed to change to a 4mm. I've done this type of border on several projects and I know better. I could tell as I was stitching that the stitches were too big for this border. It doesn't look delicate when the hook is too big. So, all right, 4mm hook again, 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then you will chain 4, turn to the back, and slip into the first stitch. So let's count back. Here's my 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and there's that first single crochet that I made. So slip into that, slip stitch, chain 1, then turn it so it's facing you again, and work 7 double crochet into that space you just made, that chain 4 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now from here, you'll do 4 stitches again. Next stitch, next to the last, that 4th one that you made here, the next stitch, again, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll do a chain 4 again to create that space for the ruffle. And then this time where your slip stitch goes is a little bit different. So I'm going to turn to the back, and it's going to be this little space right here. Okay, so this is the gap between the 4th stitch of the last grouping and the first stitch of this set of 4. So take your hook, go into the little gap, and do your slip stitch. Chain 1, turn, and then work your 7 double crochet into this chain 4 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then this is what you repeat, the last one you just did. So now bring it down, next stitch, make 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then make a chain 4 space. And turn, and we go into that gap again between the first single crochet of this group and the last one of the group before. Bring up your yarn, slip the stitch, chain 1. I think my yarn is, there we go, split there. Then turn back and work your 7 double crochet into the chain 4 space. So once it's set up, it's pretty easy. You just have to get the hang of it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Again, 4 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4. You see your little wave pattern developing here, your ruffle. Alright, so I finished my last ruffle here. So I'm going to slip down into somewhere in this area. So I'm right at the end, and I had 3 stitches left, so I had to kind of fudge. I put 2 stitches in the first stitch and then worked 3 more so that I would have 4 to do my chain 4 space. So when I slip my stitch, I'm going to come down here into the side just to make sure it gets a nice little arch. And also this is the side, it may not be the side where you are depending on the length that you made, but this side also needs to get secured, the mug handle part. So let's see, where are my scissors? Cut this, because we still have to put the ruffle on the opposite side. Pull that one through and then make sure this isn't twisted. Bring it around. And I'm going to go into that same stitch there and bring this through. I'm going to use the tail from the last wave and bring it in here and just secure it with a single crochet. Through, and I will tie a knot just to keep these secure. Sorry, the landscapers are out here, they're reworking the whole front area for spring. Let's pull that snug, and then I'll weave those ends in. Now we need to work ruffles on this side. So you want to make sure that the same side is facing you so that the curve comes in the same direction. So I'm going to start at this end, a slip knot, attach my yarn, and then we'll do the same thing again. So 4 single crochet, and the chain 4, turn to the back, find that first stitch that you made your first single crochet, and single crochet in there or slip stitch for this setup. And then I will work my 7 double crochet and then continue down like I did on the other side. So see the ruffles coming in towards the same direction. Right, so I'm finishing this second wave side, and I'll just slip here, a ruffle rather. And then for this side, I won't be knotting like I did over here. So I'll weave in this end. Now, if you want to add your little tag with yarn, so I did a video on this, on how to get your yarn through buttonholes and small spaces like this when your tapestry needles won't fit. Tapestry needles will not fit in these smaller tags. And if you push them, it will burst the corner. So the 2mm hook is my clutch go-to finishing tool because this does fit into these ends. Now it's still snug and the yarn can be a little tricky to get through, but you only have to do it a couple of times to get it in. I'll figure out where I want it. It's gonna be on the same side for both, or same spot for both. Just go from behind and pull up my yarn. Rivets for something like this, the rivets are going to be too big for these little holes also. And then a little string or little thread. You can use that, you know, it's just personal preference. I think that sometimes it can look a little flimsy, but it gets the job done. Or a cotton, like a cotton twine. Could use that, or a what is that kind of natural looking twine? You can use that also, but I'm going to use yarn because it matches my, you know, what I'm doing here. Just come through, pull it up, and this I will knot in the back to secure it, and then either weave in the end or just trim it away because you won't really see the back. Now, if you're selling these at craft fairs, which you're welcome to do, you might handle that a little bit differently. It's just up to you how you like to finish your items. Okay, so it's pulled through, and then I'll knot it back here. Not so snug that it buckles, but it's snug enough that it lays flat against the here, the length that goes around the cup, and then it's done. So you can make a couple of these in a day, depending how fast you are and how much time you have. And then you can also use this to weave in ends with a little. I do have tapestry needles sitting here, just showing you. I do this also if the yarn gets cut too short for some reason, or you play a game of yarn chicken and you lose because you didn't have enough right at the end of your project. You can weave in with your little needle. Just do your back and forth to hide it invisibly. So it's a great little tool to have on hand. And you saw me use it to work into that little tight stitch early on. I always have this handy when I'm working on a project. Okay, so let me know what color you're making and give this a like if you enjoyed the video, and consider subscribing. I'd love to see you again. Bye-bye.